Welcome back, it's Cosmic, Frank Cottrell Boys. We left it with Liam losing the vault even though he saved the day. Let's see what further adventures he can get up to today. Next chapter is I Can't Work My Trousers. On my fake programme for the South Lakeland Outdoor Activity Centre, it says Day 3, Nature Walk and Tree Recognition. An actual third day at Infinity Park really was spacesuits and introduction. I remember walking into the Possibility Building just popping with excitement. I was talking to Florida about my favourite game and movie spacesuits. Have you ever played Orbiter 4? The spacesuits in that are just cosmic. Liam, said Florida, you're very undadly. What? Dads don't play Orbiter 4. Dads don't say things are cosmic. And most of all, dads don't get excited about clothes. When you go clothes shopping, dads don't say great. They say, do we have to? Then when you get to the shop, all the dads sit outside the changing rooms looking bored. I said, Florida, a spacesuit's not clothes. A spacesuit's equipment. It probably comes with instruction manual, everything. It's a gadget. All dad love gadgets. This is a dadly occasion, not a girly shopping date. The moment she saw us, Dr. Drax said, oh, Florida, thank goodness you're here. Let's you and I make this session into our own little girly shopping date. Then they talked about 10 years, about extraterrestrial colour coordination. Vehicle escape suits are always bright orange, because bright orange is the most visible colour at sea. But Florida was worried that the orange would clash with her unfeasibly red hair, and Dr. Drax could see a point. I totally understand. You'd look like a massive Satsuma. On the other hand, a massive Satsuma would be very easy to see. While all this was going on, all the dads were sitting together feeling bored. Florida was right. Ezzy Xanadu smiled at me. He said, I was thinking about the way you saved our lives yesterday. You found the flag. You made us listen to Samson too. You're a good guy, I think. It's a shame I got all the votes. I hope no hard feelings. I said, no, of course, there's no hard feelings. But I think he could tell that I meant next time we'll stake you out, cover you with your own ice cream and leave you to the man-eating ants. Good man. Maybe you'll join me in a little drink. He pulled out his flask. This one was silver and his initials written on it in diamonds. This makes time go faster, he said. Don't let anyone else see. And he passed it to me behind his newspaper. I wasn't sure why no one else was supposed to see. Maybe because everyone else would want some, and he only had a little bit. He said, it's made from plums in my own village where I grew up. In the autumn time, we have a great fiesta. Thanks, I don't think I've ever had plum juice. What's it like, Ribena or something? I took a swig. Didn't taste like Ribena. Tasted more like being shot through the throat with a laser. All the muscles in my body's concertinaed up and then tromboned out. Then the eyes opened so wide I thought they were going to fall out. Good stuff, eh? Smiled Mr. Xanadu. More? I tried to say, no thanks, not now, not ever. But all that came out was this little wheezy croak, which together with the huge eye things made me feel that I'd possibly turn into a frog. He put the flask back in my hand and for some reason I drank some more. It wasn't as bad second time and I managed to gasp the words, thank you. Then Dr. Drax gave us our escape suits and said it was time to try them on. I tried to say okay, ready when you are, but unfortunately my jaw wouldn't open and close again. Well, it opened, but it just wouldn't close. Vehicle escape suits aren't really spacesuits. They're a more sort of wearable lifeboats in case you only wear them during takeoff and landing, just in case something goes wrong. Something seemed to be going on with mine because everyone else got into theirs quite easily, but I wasn't able to work the trousers. I could see the hole where your leg went, but every time I lifted my leg up, the hole disappeared. I put my hand up and said, Dear Dr. Drax. I don't know why I call it Dear Dr. Drax. My suit doesn't work. When you say it doesn't work, it's my trousers, they're malfunctioning. In what way? In a very bad way that makes my head like have a funny hurt. Mr. Digby, she said quite sternly, have you been drinking? Yeah, I've been drinking, you're right. Would that affect him, do you think? Doesn't affect me other trousers. I can put them on after drinking, then this is the design flaw in my humble opinion. Ezzy Xanadu said he'd help me, and he did that by holding the leg of the trousers so I could get my foot inside. I said, Mr. Eddie Xanadu, you are my shining armour knight. My shining armour knight, that's what you are. If we may continue, snarled Dr. Drax. The most innovative and useful feature of these suits is this. And she pressed the button on her suit. Slowly at first, but then faster, the suit started to swell up. The suit's inflatable, as you see. Hers was growing. And if you pull your own cord like so, yours will do the same. Everyone pulled it. Everyone started to swell up. They will be at full capacity during takeoff and re-entry. So instead of being strapped in, you'll be packed in snugly together like huge peas in a flying pod. My suit was still growing, and I suddenly noticed that everyone else was standing in a row. Very still and serious, and also unusually orange, like a police lineup of criminal tangerines. And suddenly, I knew I had to bump Eddie Xanadu very hard with my massive orange belly. So I did. Dr. Drax shouted at me, Mr. Digby, grow up. For some reason, that made me feel really sad. My mum never told me to grow up. She actually told me to stop growing up. Mr. Xanadu had tried standing up, but I'd really bumped him quite hard. He fell into Monsieur Martinet. Monsieur Martinet fell into Samson 1. And Samson 1 crashed into all the children. Next thing I knew, even Dr. Drax was rolling around the floor like huge orange marbles. They were all yelling and shouting for help. I did try and help Dr. Drax back onto her feet, but she just battered me away. Deflate your suits, she yelled. Do not stand up until you've deflated your suits. I thought suit deflation was going to be hilarious. I thought we'd all pull the plugs in our suits and then go jetting around the room like balloons. Sadly, it didn't work like that. We just didn't jet anywhere. We just sort of like wilted. I can probably see now that I shouldn't have tried to make up for that disappointment by running round with my arms out and making raspberry noises. I can see this was hardly dadly behaviour. But at the time, I sort of expected other people just to join in. Monsieur Martinet snarled, You're acting like a child again, Mr. Digby. I snapped back, well, someone has to. And it's not going to be these so-called children, is it? Look at them. They're all so cross. They're not like kids at all. They're like unusually small teachers. I knew I wasn't making much sense, and for some reason that depressed me even more. So I curled up on the floor and went to sleep. On reflection, it wasn't one of my better days. But I think I was right about the children. Hassan's always fretting about money. Max is always making sure he's first. Florida too, going on about colour coordination and stuff. They weren't proper grown-up. They were like trainee grown-ups. They're all kids now though. Now they're lost in space. When I woke up, I was in bed. This was so unexpected, I thought I'd been abducted by aliens, especially as someone seemed to be drilling a hole in the top of my skull. Then I thought I was probably in Bootle, and the whole thing about Infinity Park had been a dream. So I shouted, Dad! Which really hurt my head. And then Florida came in and said, I've had the best afternoon. What happened? And why is this bed so small? Florida ignored me. Everyone was really lovely to me. They felt sorry for me because I thought I'd got a horrible, useless, alcoholic dad. You realise you got totally drunk, don't you? Drunk? How? Mr. Xanadu's flask. You drank loads. He said he tried to stop you. He didn't. Everyone was so nice to me. It was like having 3 dads. And I got the best suit. It's blue, like the blue Power Ranger. I look great in it. It's definitely my colour. Oh, I groaned. Do we have to? What? Have a girly conversation about clothes and colours and stuff. Spacesuits aren't clothes, idiot. Spacesuits are equipment. Oh, really? And Florida told me all this amazing stuff about the history of spacesuit design. I'll say that again. Florida Kirby told me about the history of spacesuit design. This was more unexpected than being kidnapped by aliens. She explained to me because space is such a hostile environment. The spacesuit has to be a kind of mini Earth. It's like a wearable planet, giving you oxygen and keeping you at a constant temperature when space is freezing, or when it's boiling, shielding you from radiation and keeping you at the right pressure. Unearth the air pressing down on you all the time, and that's sort of what keeps you in one piece. But there's no pressure in space, so you have to make your own. Usually, this means you have to wear a big suit like a bag full of gas, so you're walking around in a big bubble of air pressure. It works, but it's clumsy, and people are always looking for something better. Like a really tight suit that puts pressure on you just by being too tight. Like a wetsuit, but tighter than that even. The trouble is, anything that tight would be really painful and difficult to put on. But Dr. Drax has come up with a solution. Literally. Liquid spacesuits. Spacesuits that you spray on. Apparently they're like thick paint, quite sticky at first, but then they cool into something hard and supple. A bit like rubber. Florida showed me a photo on her Drax phone. She really did look like a Power Ranger. Apparently they spray the paint on. They put all these wires all over you with tiny motors in them, which you activate by twitching. Stick on muscles, in other words, that you can jump like 5 feet on Earth and maybe 20 feet in space. There are also pipes and stuff that you can wee on and so without taking your suit off. Because to take the suit off you need a solvent spray, and that takes about an hour. Much too long if you're desperate. Like I said, all this stuff was amazing, but the real amazing stuff was that it was Florida who was telling me. Florida Kirby talking about air pressure and gravity and stuff. I said, Florida, how do you know about all this stuff? That's what we've been talking about all day. Yeah, but how did it go in? I'm not sick, you know. The other dads were amazed and that they didn't know about pressure and gravity already, and they were even more amazed when I couldn't swim. I didn't know you couldn't swim. Exactly. That's what Monsieur Martinet said. He said you were a drunk who took no interest in me. We had to swim to the special pool to show we could use the suits in weightless conditions. They were really shocked that I couldn't swim. They said that one of your main functions as a dad was teaching your kid to swim. So they taught me to swim. Samson one explained about buoyancy and stuff, and Monsieur Martinet threw me in the deep end. Mr. Xanadu said he'd buy me my own pool if I swam a length. They all said it was such a tragedy that a unique child like me should have a thoughtless father like you. Can I just remind you that I'm not your real dad? I'm just someone you used to sit behind in year 6. The person who didn't bother to teach you to swim. That's your real dad, not me. I knew right then I'd said the wrong thing. She went very quiet. Not like Sunday morning. Quiet like Varimas, dead lord of the plague lands, uploading a new terrible weapon. I said, Florida. She said, don't speak to me. I just, no, don't speak to me. I didn't mean don't speak to me. I never even met, don't speak to me. But, don't you know, you ever talk about my dad again. Okay? Not now, not ever, never. My dad, let me tell you, is amazing. My dad travels all over the world. That's why he named us after faraway places. He buys me presents. He calls me princess. He does not forget my birthday. She stormed out, slammed the door, then slammed her own door. Talk to your teen has one thing to say, what to do when your teenage daughter slams a door. Leave it slammed. Don't go near her. Let her calm down. The book made it sound like if you tried to open the door, you'd dematerialise or something. I just sat by myself and watched another repeat of Celebrity Seance. The one where Dracula comes on and complains about being misunderstood. All I ever did was impale people on wooden stakes, which wasn't that unusual at the time. My negative image was all media spin, etc. Suddenly, Florida's door banged open again and she yelled at me, "Excuse me, I'm upset. You're supposed to come and cheer me up." No. By slamming doors, you're marking off some personal space for yourself. And the best thing to do is for me to respect that. What are you on about? It's in this book. And I showed her the bit about banging doors in Talk to Your Teen. She said, that'd work if you had a telly in your room, but I was getting bored in there. You could always read a book. She stared at me. Ha, joking. Then she stared some more. You really think I'm thick, don't you? The bottom lip was starting to go. Maybe I am thick. I was really scared she was going to cry. I said, Florida, don't cry. I read the bits when teens cry. You have to hug them. Please don't make me hug you. Well, reassure me then. I said, you're not thick at all. Who said that? You know loads of stuff. Just not the right stuff, that's all. What do you mean? Well, you're really good at remembering things. You know about celebrities' names and who they're going out with and everything. You're very good at storing and retrieving information. It's just that it's not useful information. Florida started to look a bit better. It was good today when they're all sitting around me explaining about buoyancy and pressure and stuff. I was like, so that's why we just don't fall into a million of pieces. I never thought of it before. Did you know all that already? Some of it. I've been gifted and talented, you know. Maybe you could teach me stuff. You are supposed to be dad after all, and dads teach the kids stuff, don't they? Yeah, they're supposed to. Only, my dad's been too busy, because he's important, but you're not busy or important. You could help, and you know stuff, and I could show you how to be a better dad, because this book's rubbish. Okay. Florida looked thoughtful for a bit and was surprisingly quiet. Then she said, you know when your inbox on your mobile is full and you delete your old messages? Can you do that with your brain, you think? I'm not sure why. Because my brain is full of unuseful stuff. And I was thinking of deleting it and filling it up with useful stuff instead. What do you think? Or maybe new stuff could just force out the old stuff. Like if I learned about gravity, I'd forget about Jennifer Aniston's alleged struggle with depression. You wouldn't need to delete anything. Your brain's got loads more storage capacity than a mobile phone. You can put new information in without needing to take old information out. Florida smiled. She looked different, happier than I've seen her in ages. So I can be clever and stupid at the same time. Cool. Oh, strangely, someone had voted for me that day. Everyone got one vote. I assumed mine was from Florida, but she said it wasn't. I must have been from someone whose idea of a good dad was someone who couldn't work his own trousers. Cheers.